Zachary Christie's story. He's a 6-year-old from Delaware. He basically took a pocket knife to school. It's a utensil, a camping utensil that could be used as a knife, a fork, and a spoon. Okay, so he took this utensil to school, and when school officials saw it, they decided to take action against him. Okay, they have, of course, schools have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to weapons, especially after all the school shootings and everything. So because of this, he now faces 45 days in the district's reform school.
Reform school. I don't know what that's like, but that doesn't sound good. Oh, well, look at this guy. No wonder he totally deserves it. This guy looks like a thug, straight up, okay? I mean, this guy's going to cut everybody up in that school.
Look, here's the thing, okay? I don't agree with the zero tolerance policy. I think it's ridiculous, right? You have to have some judgment on a case-by-case basis, okay?
Yes.
That being said, you can't bring a knife to school. I mean, I don't think that he should spend 45 days in a reform school. I don't think he should spend any time in a reform school. But there definitely needs to be some consequences so the 6-year-old understands that it's not okay to bring a knife to school. Even if he does it, even if he brings it without the intention of hurting someone else, he could accidentally hurt someone else. Or someone else can accidentally use that and hurt other students. So, yeah, he needs to know that it's wrong. The problem that I have with this story is his mother and everybody is saying, oh, you know, this kid did nothing wrong. It's all about, you know, these school policies. These school policies are wrong. So this little 6-year-old boy is walking around thinking, yeah, bringing knives to school is okay. It's not me that did something wrong. It's the stupid school with their stupid policies that are doing something wrong.
Here comes the hanging judge again. That's unbelievable. All right, now look, other parts of the story are that a girl whose grandmother sent in a birthday cake, sent it in with a knife to cut the cake. Then this is my favorite part of the story. They cut the cake and eat it, and afterwards the teacher tells the principal, and then they suspend the student.
Yeah, and that see,
No, you don't get to eat your cake and have it too. Okay,
right.
That's not right.
And that particular story, I 100% disagree with. And like I said,
but it's zero tolerance. Zero tolerance is zero tolerance.
I said in the beginning that I don't agree with the zero tolerance policy. However, students need to be aware that they shouldn't be allowed to bring guns as well, but knives.
Yes, that I agree with.
Or any type of weapon to school.
But you see, that's an excellent point right there, because with a gun, it's fairly unambiguous. Like if you bring a gun to school, it's not like you were going to cut the cake with the gun. Right? Well, I was going to shoot it a couple of times and stuff. Or I thought this was a cool thing I found in Boy Scouts. No guns. Right? That's obvious. But there's 100 different things that a knife could be used for, like cutting food. Right? So that's where the problem comes in. And the problem comes in when they get expansive. We did another story where they say no weapons, and they suspended a girl who had a Tweety chain. They're like, hey, it's a chain, chain's a weapon, you're gone.
I know. And that's usually what happens when the country experiences some sort of crisis, right? All these school shootings happen, and of course the response is to over-exaggerate.
Look, let's get reasonable here. First of all, zero tolerance has a good and a bad reason behind it, okay? The good reason behind it is when they let people use judgment, they usually screw it up. And what they realized is that it gets applied, the policy against bringing quote-unquote weapons to school gets applied to minority students at disproportionate rates than white students. But it's not a little disproportionate, it's grossly disproportionate. Like in some cases, 2 to 3 times as much applied to minority students. Then you go, oh, okay, yeah, I see what the problem is, right? But the bad side of doing zero tolerance is you can't remove human judgment from things. And if you do, it's partly being lazy. It's taking a shortcut. Exactly. Instead of fixing the problem, and even if it's discrimination, then the problem is discrimination. And how you apply it, you should recognize it, and that's actually probably just only one indication of a larger problem you have, and address that problem. Burying it and then, and going over it just by calling zero tolerance, all right, then we won't use our mind at all, and we'll just ban everybody. Oh, that pen is kind of sharp. That's a weapon. You're all suspended. I mean, this can get ridiculous. No, that's why we have the capacity for judgment, and we should have administrators who can, put that into effect. So for this kid, look, obviously he shouldn't have brought it in. He got overzealous, but it's not a real knife. I mean, it's part of this camping thing, and we understand what the story is. Okay, teach him a lesson. You know what? you're suspended for it. You know what?
No, not even
2
that.
days.
Not even that.
Okay,
I
who
don't think the kid should even get suspended because you get suspended. I mean, he's a 6-year-old, so it doesn't matter. But
It doesn't matter at all.
suspension
That
is
sends the
still-
message perfectly fine.
I don't think suspension is a good disciplinary action because you don't want to send kids out of school. You want them to get an education. Give them detention after school.
Look, if you said to me as a kid, what do you want? 2 days of suspension or 45 days of reform school? I'm like, suspension, suspension,
No.
suspension.
I understand
Okay.
that. I understand
And that's
that.
part of the problem you were saying.
Yes, that is part of the problem. So instead, after class is over, he should spend more time in school in detention, and that's something that he's going to hate, but it works well in 2 different ways. I mean,
All right, you know what? We're going to have a deal here. We're going to work this out. A week of detention.
yeah, I think that's great.
Okay,
because,
deal?
Yeah, deal.
Okay. 45 days in reform school. God knows what's going to happen there. I don't know how bad a reform school is, but it doesn't sound pleasant. Okay? So,
Maybe
Go
I missed
ahead.
something. What happened to conversation and understanding? Oh, so little Johnny. I don't know why that's always the name.
in this case, it's Zachary.
Yeah,
little Zachary.
Little shit. You got a knife on this pocket thing that you brought in because you're trying to show off because you're happy about Boy Scouts. You can't bring that to school. You know this will hurt somebody. Take it home and don't bring it back anymore. Isn't that the end of the discussion? I don't understand the detention, the suspension, or any of that stuff because I feel like detention should be for people who consciously are out to cause harm at school, and then they're going to learn their lesson and go, damn, I'm going to think twice before I do that messed up thing again because then I'm going to get detention. He wasn't thinking.
No,
He wasn't going, I'm going to fuck somebody up.
Is he Zachary? He's 6. Anyway, no, I hear you, JR. But and that goes to the problem with these zero tolerance policies, which is that it's usually because people are lazy and scared, okay? And because if they don't take drastic action and then later something happens in that school, then they're going to get fired. And they don't want to get fired. That's 90% of the reason why anybody does anything at any job. They don't want to get fired. And that's why they have these. And that's why I don't like zero tolerance policies. In fact, I'm declaring right now, I have zero tolerance for zero tolerance policies. Think about it. Look, I need everybody to go nominate us for the podcast awards. I'm not messing around anymore, okay? It's right, if you go on the youngturks.com, it's right in the middle. All you have to do is click it, right? And it's right next to the screen. It says, nominate the Young Turks for the podcast awards in the politics section and people's choice. So go ahead and do that. Go nuts. Let's get the nomination so that more people can hear about the show, okay? Move forward. Go forward.